Hello and welcome to another edition of Talk Vietnam, and in this week's episode we are right here in the midst of the festivities here in Hoi An Ancient Town for the Hoi An International Food Festival 2017. And our guest for this week's episode is no one else but a heavyweight. It is the president of the World Association of Chefs Societies himself, Thomas Gugler. So with no further ado, let's follow his journey in Vietnam. Hello Thomas, welcome back to Vietnam. It is your second time, correct?
Thank you very much. Yes, it's the second time and it's amazing like usual.
Fantastic. So what has made you want to come back here this year?
I mean, last year when I was here, it was for me one of the most best experiences I had in my entire career of the chef's world going around the globe, because the hospitality was outstanding, superb. The food was world class, simple but so super yummy, tasty. And the people was so nice that I said, you fall in love with it, and it was really wow, so I had to come back.
And what do you think is so different about this year? How do you feel to be here again?
First of all, we have a lot of new chefs with us. Last year it was on a smaller spectrum than this year. Actually, people came from different parts of the world. We have people from Asia, we have people from America, from Northern Europe, from Central Europe, and from the African and Arabic world. So I think it is really covered all the 5 continents. This is number one. And number two, for me, it is something which is really a privilege to go around the world and to show people and to showcase other cultures and other food habits throughout the whole world.
This is basically your second time in Vietnam and enjoying Vietnamese food, but can you go back in time to your first experience, your first encounter with Vietnamese food? What sort of first impression did you receive, and what was so striking about Vietnamese food to you?
Okay, first of all, my first coming in touch with Vietnamese food was 1989, when I was working and living in Sweden. And Vietnamese food was very popular at that time in the Scandinavian countries. And in Europe, there wasn't many Vietnamese restaurants elsewise. So when I was there and I was working for a top-class place, I enjoyed going out in the night to these Vietnamese places because their food was so tasty and so different. You could have a food which was very quickly done. It was so rich in flavors and rich in colors that I really fell in love with it. And when I got the opportunity to Miss Wee and to Mr. Happy, who approached me to say, listen, can we organize a food festival here in Hoi An and in Vietnam, and can you organize some chefs for it? I said, sure, with pleasure, because I traveled 162 countries by now in my entire career, and Vietnam for me was always one of the highlights, as I would call it, due to the culture, due to the fauna and flora which you have, and due to your amazing food.
Thomas Andreas Gugler is the president of the World Association of Chef Societies. As well as being a member of numerous other professional culinary bodies globally, Thomas is world-renowned, winning 178 medals, 750 awards, tokens of appreciation, trophies, and honors. Appearing in numerous TV shows, writing cookbooks, and hosting culinary master classes around the world. He also has decades of experience judging in World Chefs competitions globally. Certified A-category judge, and is celebrated for his huge love for the hospitality industry. He has lived in 13 countries and speaks 9 languages fluently. For the past 2 Hoi An International Food Festivals, Thomas Gugler has been the chief of chefs who invited all the renowned international chefs to the event.
So with your help, this event has actually managed to get 12 international chefs to come over here to Hoi An. How have you helped them out to get all these guys over? How did you go about doing it?
I mean, the chef's world is a very funny but very strict society. We're taking our life on a day-to-day basis in trying to really help and support chefs from all around the world and supporting them. It starts from education until they are adult grown chefs, as we would say, or we would call them. They get out as a commis, as a demi-chef, chef de partie, touring the world, getting experiences, and definitely at the end when they become really good master chefs, famous master chefs, and so I would say celebrity chefs, they had to travel the world. While traveling the world, it gives you an influence of so many different characters, types, and cooking techniques and styles, which these people are very keen on. They are going back to their countries and implementing some of what they've seen and what they learn due to their journeys around the globe into their own traditional cuisine in kind of fusion, crossover, mixture, East meets West or whatever. And this is the key element that this kind of guys, whenever you're asking them to travel with you, if they are free, if they have no specific other task actually pre-planned, and we are doing this kind of planning 1 year in advance or at least 9 months in advance, so they can pre-plan their travels. And whoever I asked from the 12 guys, I didn't get one no. Everyone said, yeah, wow, cool, super, I'm in. And you always hear the word, I'm in, I'm coming. And why they do that? Because first of all, it's what they can see here for themselves, what they can show the local people about their country. It's this kind of give and take. It is this kind of crossover, mixing and mingle, this international people together. And last but not least, to have a good time with really the locals and really trying to live with them. It is not just visiting, hello, I'm eating, today's I'm going. It is doing things together with them in a very closed way. And this, I think, creates such a touchy atmosphere that it is very unique and so great that we as chefs have this opportunity to meet people like you and to really become friends with people from all around the globe.
It's exciting to know that Vietnam or Hoi An is so attractive to the international chefs as well, right?
It is, absolutely, because as I said, it's not only the food, it is the whole surroundings, it is the way how you try to support and promote your cuisine, and it's the enthusiasm which you see in a country which is not counted to the 10 richest in the world where everything I do with a snip because I have the money. Here it is done with hard work, with consistent learning, counseling, coaching the people, and I think to create this kind of international flair which you have due to your cultural heritage touches, and this merge that together, it's a perfect match.
So in a way, it's also about the experience as well, right?
Definitely. Experience for us is the A and O. Even if you are 80 years by age, you still learn every day, and you have to be open-minded, because cooking is not like many other trades in the world. You have your rules and regulations. We also have our rules. It's the basics, but then we are free to create. You are like an artist, like a painter. You can be wild, free, out of the sky. But if I would be most probably an electrician, I only have these 5 cables or the 3 cables, and I can't mix them together because that would be fatal. So I have to follow that kind of applicational rules. But in cooking, anything which could go together, if you consider always the correct basics, could be a new creation. It could be a world-selling master hit, you know.
This is the second time the International Food Festival has been held in Hoi An. This year's festival introduced 12 famous chefs from the World Associations of Chef Societies. They are top chefs from India, Germany, Greece, Russia, Mauritius, Malaysia, the US, Finland, Sri Lanka, Slovenia, Sweden, Taiwan, China. They had a chance to go to a Vietnamese market on the very first day of coming to Hoi An.
The freshness of these products is great, and this will reflect actually a top quality in your final cooked product. And this is why people love Vietnamese food. I think it's amazing, it is outstanding, it is very special, and it is so tasty that, of course, we will always come back and back and back again because it's so good.
One of the highlights of this year's festival is when the president of the World Association of Chef Societies, Thomas Gugler, presented the title, the Food Capital of Vietnam, to Hoi An City. This is a valuable recognition from the international community, affirming the brand name and cultural tourism image of Hoi An.
The ancient history about Hoi An, with their food culture, the taste of all the products here, as they are very natural, even from all the fields, from the farmers, are really very special, very outstanding. And I think Hoi An deserves a recognition which is giving it the weight it deserves.
The development of local tourism with thousands of international visitors each day has created the diversity for food businesses as well as for the dietary lifestyle here in Hoi An. That's why this is the perfect place for the world food experts to gather in a food festival.
So for a man of your stature to come over here to promote the Vietnamese cuisine as well as to bring the international chefs over to Vietnam, it's quite a big deal and a big honor for the country too. Why have you chosen to do all these things?
Because first of all, I love my profession. I believe a chef's world has no borders, as we are running World Chef Without Borders as well. And I believe in that people all around the globe should know about all the cuisines in the world. There are several countries around the world which are still very close, where the food and the cultures are quite unknown due to, I so would call it, restrictions which they have in traveling policies and whatever. But vice versa, that I think for me it's so important because Vietnam had a very hard time many years back, and I think they really deserve to be well recognized, because what Vietnamese people did since this time in developing this kind of amazing cuisine must be broadcasted, must be supported, and must be showcased all around.
So you're saying that, you know, more traits of the Vietnamese cuisine should be showcased around the world. What are these traits?
Look, I mean, first of all, you are very well known for this kind of street cooking which you are doing. Secondly, for this kind of very small bacala restaurants which have this very special cozy atmosphere, sitting on these small, tiny, narrow seats. And of course, the upcoming, I so would call it, really gourmet class cuisine, which is celebrated here in Hoi An in some places, which is a mix of an international cuisine, influenced of course by Vietnamese style and Vietnamese flavors and herbs, but presented in a kind of a Western style, which takes a little bit the kind of the simplicity of your food towards a much higher and more elegant way in cooking that kind of dishes for your visitors and for your friends and for your actually hosts, which I think enjoying that very, very much.
Now let's talk about the event that you are attending for the second time now. So what do you think, what are some of the characteristics or advantages that Hoi An has in particular that could be ideal for an event like this?
I mean, the most important thing, I think, and the most magnificent and significant signature of Hoi An is their world culture heritage buildings and the whole infrastructure of the surroundings of Hoi An. Living underwater, having their floods, having all these histories, this is something which is really very special, I so would call it. The second thing is how the people living here and how they are celebrating food. If you go out in Hoi An, you see every night it's packed, it's crowded. people like to mingle, people like to go around and gather with their friends, colleagues, sitting in the nice street coffees, small finger food shops, nice restaurants, upper class, casual, whatever you have here. And I think this, in support of these beautiful small candles floating down the river with the nice lampions all around, it's creating a kind of atmosphere of 1001 Night, Arabic Nights, in the Vietnamese version, that it is so touchy, so it's glimming. It's just, I think it's mind-blowing.
And now to discover the secrets behind the tastiness of Vietnamese food and what has intrigued Thomas so much, as we follow Thomas to a very special journey when he comes to visit a local family here in Hoi An and checks out how they make food and enjoy the food themselves as well.
In his return to Vietnam this time, Thomas Gugler had a chance to go sightseeing along the Tu Bon River with Chef Tring Diem V and Sri Lankan chef Happy K. He also got to know more about the livelihoods of locals here.
So it's still so peaceful in this area. Very small population. This land, not many people live, but they use for farm. Like they go on there in the morning, grow in the grain, grow in the vegetable, and then come back. The one interesting thing is corn. Corn, you see corn tree there? We say that corn have to cross the river.
Okay.
Tastes much better.
Yeah.
So the most tasty corn come from that area.
Okay.
I don't know why, but they have to.
Small island
soil.
also. It's
Yes.
soil, yeah.
So water that
Yeah.
is a fertilization.
Absolutely.
directly from the soil.
Yes, so that made the corn is so sweet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This
Amazing.
area very well known about corn.
Very beautiful.
Tu Bon River's water level is low this season, but we could still see fishermen around the river. They make a living on small boats with simple tools like nets and bait. Their life is deeply connected with the river. The low water level kept Thomas's boat from traveling far. The three guests had to use Vietnamese coracles to enter the village. They were immediately attracted by smoke coming out of the kitchens inside houses that lie under coconut trees along the riverbank. And the guests decided to stop here. They met Tuan Lien, a local who was cooking lunch.
The three leg burner.
Yeah.
You can move them around the house. In
Very
the
good,
winter,
yes.
inside,
What you adding?
in
What you
summer,
adding?
Anyway,
in the
yes,
garden.
absolutely.
When Lien invited them to join him for lunch, Thomas said he would like to cook some dishes himself with available ingredients. The first dish was gourd soup with oysters.
Yeah, now we wait a little bit until we have all the herbs inside and the spring onions, and then we will try that. But
Wow.
it looks so fresh, you know. Ooh,
Yeah.
that tastes fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really fantastic.
So fresh.
It's so fantastic. Wow.
You're gonna get one fish.
Let's
You wanna
take the
one?
first one.
This is how they preserve the seafood. All the all the food here.
Whatever
Is
the
no
leftover
refrigerator.
after
Yes.
you cut
Take a knife. Take a
The
knife.
best way is dry.
Okay. Let's see what we have here now. Let's see for some ingredients
Yeah. Go and have a
what we
look.
can find.
You think it's enough to cook?
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Oh, there's some green
Give me
herb
some
here.
green
The fresh
herbs
herb
here.
here.
We have some here, and here. We
Now
can
this
also
one
put
to eat it
some
raw.
mint. That's also nice.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you need 3 of
Give me
this.
some
Yeah, we take that one. That's okay.
Any onion?
We peel them, yeah, onions.
All right. You need my help?
We need some.
Oh, look at that.
You see, just dried fish, 3
Okay.
minutes to
With just some basic spices, the famous chef quickly finished simmered dried fish, which amazed the host himself.
How do you do it?
All your magic ingredients from Vietnam around the Hoi An series.
Beautiful fish bread.
Something very, very tasty. We have to. But I love the soup. Very amazing. So different, huh? It's really yummy.
Mình cũng chuẩn bị nấu 1-2 món cho bác để dùng thử. Nhưng sau đó những cái món mà nó đang có sẵn và bác sẽ sử dụng những cái nguyên liệu thật sự là nó không đầy đủ lắm. Riêng về một cái đầu bếp chuyên nghiệp như vậy là nó không đầy đủ lắm. Mà mình rất là bất ngờ khi bác làm tạo thành một cái món ăn rất là đặc biệt. Cũng như ngày xưa thì con cá khô thì mình chỉ đem nướng và làm những cái món khác thôi. Nhưng bác này những cái tỏi, hành, bác một cái nguyên liệu đơn giản mà bác làm một cái món ăn rất là tuyệt vời.
Đối với người Việt và đặc biệt là người miền Trung mà thấy cá khô thì làm gì? Đem nướng sau hạt ngâm cho mềm rồi xong nướng hạt chiên, ăn với nước mắm. Còn ổng lại pha thêm kết hợp những cái nguyên liệu mà cũng rất là địa phương, hành, tỏi, ớt rồi những cái rau thơm, nấu sao qua tạo ra một cái khí vị hoàn toàn khác mà chưa bao giờ mình, đặc biệt là mình người làm bếp địa phương mình ít có nghĩ tới. Đó là cái tài nghệ của những cái người làm bếp ngồi là ở một cái đẳng cấp cao.
Now this year, you've actually carried an important mission for Hoi An as well. Can you share with us what may that be?
I mean, first of all, one of the most important things what we are carrying is to carry the food culture with all these international chefs towards the Global World Association of Chef Societies, which we are having between 10 to 12 million members in the moment. We have 110 member countries. And this is the first thing that people are getting the awareness about what we are trying to do here. The second thing, definitely, it is to get Hoi An as a community broadcasted and involved in the production of food festivals and food cultural heritage events, which will be the next step after we are doing this kind of food Hoi An festivals. And the next thing is also to have the connections towards the supporters, towards the sponsors, and towards the local society of trading. Because with this you are involving the agricultural parts of the whole Hoi An region in it. You are having the governmental support in having a lot of opportunities that they just build an oven outside. They are recreating the whole marketplace, the sculpture park and everything according to our needs. And I think one of the things is that we are all treated as ambassadors for Vietnamese and for Hoi An food out to the world.
We are the world chefs and wax is our home.
I'm a chef.
I'm a chef. I'm a chef.
From Switzerland. From Holland.
From Sri Lanka.
I am a chef.
I'm a chef.
I'm a chef.
I'm a chef.
From Egypt.
Malaysia.
Iceland.
I'm a chef. I'm a chef.
I'm a chef.
From Australia. USA.
From El Salvador.
Wir sind Köche als auch Chefs.
We have no borders.
The World Association of Chef Societies, or World Chefs in short, is a global network of chefs associations founded in October 1928 in Paris. At that first Congress, there were 65 delegates from 17 countries, representing 36 national and international associations. And Auguste Escoffier was named the first honorary president of World Chefs. Today, this global body has more than 100 official chefs associations as members, representing 12 million professional chefs worldwide. The Biennial Congress is a hallmark tradition of world chefs and has been organized in more than 20 cities around the world throughout its illustrious 89-year history.
I can now notice that your medallion is rather different from the other chefs here too. Can you explain why it looks the way it is and what it means?
Okay, it's quite simple. Actually, this is the president's medallion. It's only existing one time in the world. Only the world president is allowed to wear it. And if you see all of this kind of small badges, this is all the past presidents from all around the years, which starts 1908 with Mr. Escoffier, and then you have all the past presidents over here, and it will be handed over from president to president and will be worn on official occasions to represent the World Association of Chef Societies in its best way.
So can you talk about your journey to get that medallion of yours? How did you become the person that you are today?
Okay, first of all, when I was a young boy with about 2.5, 3 years old, I always wanted to become a chef because my grandmother was a really good chef, but she wasn't a professional chef. She cooked amazingly, and my mother as well. And so I said I wanted to become a chef. And after my school, I started actually my apprenticeship. I made 3 years an apprenticeship. That time in the best place, in the best, with the best chef of Germany. He was a very famous guy, and he taught me basically a lot about cooking. It was a very hard time, but it was a kind of the milestone to achieve what I achieved at the end. I had a lot of support from the family, from the wife, from the kids, and this actually helped me a lot. Now, after this kind of, I so would say, apprenticeship, I made my journeys all around the world. I lived and worked in 13 countries. I started in Sweden. We was running one of the best restaurants in the world, and especially about Scandinavia. From there we went to Spain, to Fuerteventura. I went into the club business, which means all-inclusive clubs on the top high end. From there I was going into spa places, into 5, 6, 7-star hotels. And then finally it brought me around the world, and I ended up, after many, many years of my journey as an executive master chef, I have a master degree, I ended up in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia I was heading actually a very big organization, which was an airline, Saudi airline, and we produced really immense quality and quantity of meals a day, which made me to become quite well known and famous in the airline industry as well. During this time I founded 2 chef associations, the Saudi Chef Association and as well the Saudi Arabian Chef Table Circle, and we have registered that within the World Organization of Chef Societies in 2009. I'm a member of the World Organization of Chef Societies since 1985, which is quite a long time back. And I have been appointed as the Continental Director for whole Africa and Middle East. Africa and Middle East, when I took over this whole part in the region, we only had 4 member countries. And when I was appointed, I said I have a vision. I want to grow that region within the first 1.5 years by 100 or 150%. While in 3 years I managed 300% growth, and by now we had 19 member countries just from the Middle East and Africa. Because I emphasized a lot of time, I really worked very hard for that, and a lot of my dedication went into actually getting this kind of countries approved. I was the coach of the German national youth cooking team, participated many times in the Olympics. We was very successful. Germany actually was winning the Culinary Olympics twice with the junior team. And the entire structure behind the whole thing was always for me further enhancing young, talented and interested chefs, and to support the chefs world all around the world. We went to a charity event many years back, and one of my guys and one of my friends, all these kind of chefs, crazy chefs which I brought here, said, "Why are you not running as a president?" I said, no. Listen, you brought me already into this position to become a continental director, and now you want me to run as a president. Yeah, they said, but you have the time, you have the knowledge, and you have the money for it, and you can organize your kind of travels according to your needs, and you are the ideal candidate. I wasn't 100% convinced about that, but I said, okay, if I do that, okay, let's try it, but I don't want to just try it. If I will do my utmost best. And then finally last year we came actually to the new elections. It's always for 4 years to become the world president. And you have, regardless of the volume of members you have in a country, every country around the world, which is 110 countries, have one vote only. If you have 10 chefs as members or 1 million chefs as members, it's only one vote. So it means you have to have 51% to win. And we was 3 candidates. And lucky me, with the support of a lot of good chefs and colleagues and friends from all around the globe, I become the new world president in September in Greece.
I believe in young chefs. We want to have an involvement of all chefs in all ages, from the apprentice, culinary icons, exchange of know-how, setting trends, and working on establishment culinary centers for education and tutoring all around the world, which is one of the main aims of our society. Know-how. I believe only together we can shine.
I'm very proud to be here, to have this position by now. I will do my utmost best to get the chef's world to be united all around the globe and to really support events like this in Hoi An. And this for all the regions. Let it be the expensive and wealthy ones till the poorest in the world, because I think the chef's world should be united without taking in consideration the color, the race and the belief. We all wear a white jacket and we should work hand in hand to make it a peaceful being together.
So many chefs that I've talked to have said that Vietnamese gastronomy is not where it should be around the world. It's not as well known as it should be. What do you think Vietnam can do to change this?
Look, first of all, you have to have some very good campaigns running, because you are talking about Hoi An, you're talking about the world cultural heritage, you're not talking much about food, because I think sometimes Vietnamese people was a little bit shy of their food, because what they used to cook the food wasn't that kind of, I so would call it AAA tenderloin, or it wasn't actually the sole or the sea pike or whatever, these high-end quality products. They did it with some simple ordinary food, which made them maybe a little bit reserved towards going out a lot. But if you compare that with the flavor approaches and the flavor buds and the kind of wow cuisine, this kind of stunning foods, look at that here. You have so many nice products here. You don't have to be shy at all. Promote it in a proper way. You have us world chefs, or us chefs from all around the world, which are conveying this message now to our colleagues. We are supporting that, and for myself, for example, I will open a kind of a concept like Miss V is doing here in Saudi Arabia.
So at the opening ceremony of this year's festival, you mentioned that you would be dedicated to promoting Vietnamese cuisine as well. What do you think you could do in the future to support Vietnamese cuisine?
I mean, definitely what we have the opportunity. There is a lot of social media available right now where we as a world organization can really talk about Vietnamese cuisine. We can have our workshops around the world where real specialized Vietnamese chefs are representing Vietnam as their ambassadors. You should have some cultural ambassadors which have special jackets here, ambassador of the food of Vietnam, and sending them around the globe. You can do that with governmental support. And we from the World Association, for example, are very open-minded that we can give you the contacts also to get this kind of qualified Vietnamese chefs to do workshops all around the world within the World Organization associated country partners.
There's this famous saying that chefs can change the world. What's your response to this?
Basically, chefs cannot change the world. Chefs already changed the world. And that's maybe a big statement, but if you see a chef and a professional industry with their way in thinking, growing products, harvesting, waste management, sustainable food, it's driven by chefs. Because we, with our millions of members, if we decide not to have, for example, we would say no tuna on a plate, because tuna will be associated with dolphins. Dolphins are caught the same way like a tuna. It could be one of the steps in helping a species to survive while it's in threat. Big word with tuna. There are smaller things which is important, you know. That you say, for example, help the local societies if products are really in danger, species are in danger, banning them from using them for a special time frame until it has been regrown or until it has been recovered from the threatening. And this is what we had, and we all know about. There are not so many rhinos around the world. There are not so many lions and tigers around the world. Elephants get shot because of the ebony. I mean, how sick, sorry to say that, is our society in doing that for a piece of teeth to kill an elephant, which is a very peaceful animal. And if the market is not buying that stuff anymore, it will be stopped. This kind of, I so would call it, inappropriate hunting of animals in danger.
Okay, so what does the future hold for you?
For me, it would be a dream that we have really peace on earth, that people are more tolerant and more accepting each other, that we are working very close together, that we are having the acceptance in different aspects, that we have cultural exchanges, more education towards the unfortunate countries, and that we are moving closer together in all the aspects of humanitarian views and as well in respecting our nature more.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for your great insights. It's been a great privilege talking to you, sir.
Thank you so much. It's really great coming here always to Vietnam. I think it's amazing. It's a great pleasure being here.
Great. And that has wrapped up this edition of Talk Vietnam. We hope that through our talk you now appreciate the taste behind the great food that these guys make and also the important role that they carry as well in changing the world. Goodbye for now. I'm Michael Liu, and until next time.